Hey everybody, welcome to the gallery. Thank you for joining me today. Today is Saturday, April 13th, and I am working on my Snowy Owl by Rita Kanya. This is from Diamond Art Club. This is partially an update video. This is how much I've done so far. And I'm up in this section here. I got my Starbucks iced coffee with oat milk. I'm going to do a WIP chat today, and I'm going to talk about another true crime story that I want to tell you about, and I can share with you. This Snowy Owl I am doing for Diamond Crafts by Eileen. I don't know why my brain goes blank when I try to remember people's names or channel names. Diamond Craft by Eileen. She's hosting this month of April, called Wings and Things. I'm going to put everyone in who is participating, and go and check everybody's channels out and see what they're all up to. This is my contribution to Wings and Things. I have a few more sections to work on, so I thought I'd do another WIP and chat and talk about some true crime with you. Wednesday, my daughter told me about this a while ago, and we were anticipating for this Netflix special. On Wednesday, they came out. This particular crime took place back in 2010, but they made a Netflix special and put the town where I'm living in right now on the map. It is awesome. Like, not awesome, the crime wasn't awesome, but not to be put in that way, but it's incredible how this crime took place. It's now, the name of the show, it's on Netflix right now, so if you have Netflix and you like true crime, I want you to check out What Jennifer Did on Netflix. Oh my goodness. You know, you watch this and at the beginning you think she's a victim, and as the story unfolds, of course, you end up having a different perception of the person, the main focal person. So this family, the parents immigrated from Vietnam. They moved to Canada. The father was a machinist. The mother worked in a factory, and they had two kids, Jennifer and Felix. At the time of this incident, their other child, Felix, was away at school, becoming an engineer, and so he wasn't around for what happened. Growing up in these kind of families, the way these kids were brought up in the Asian culture is known as tiger parenting, where there is so much control, so much pressure to succeed and do well. So Felix was really, the father had pushed him to become an engineer. Not only did he want him to work on cars, but he wanted him to design cars. So he was away at university studying engineering, and with a possible career in the future to design cars. Jennifer was exceptional in his field. Jennifer was an average student. She wasn't getting straight A's. She wasn't what her parents thought she was, or as smart as she was. And so she started to tell her parents lies. She would she fabricated, she never graduated high school, although she fabricated a high school diploma. She told her parents she didn't want to become, her parents wanted her to be a doctor, but she couldn't stomach that profession. So she agreed to become a pharmacist. I mean, she told her parents that's what she would do. She would go to school to become a pharmacist. Her father would drive her to school every day, and he thought he was taking her to school like a normal parent. But she wasn't going to school. She wasn't going to classes. She was living a lie. And she was telling her parents that, she would show them fake report cards. She would make fake report cards. So yeah, she was faking her way through school. She faked her way through university. She showed her parents that she went to the graduation. She showed her parents that she had a fake degree. They're all so proud. Eventually, her mom found out that she wasn't going to school. Her mom found out that she was hanging with her boyfriend, who was someone they didn't approve of. He was doing drugs. By the way, I didn't mention the family name. Their last name is Pan, P as in Peter, A-N. And her boyfriend's name was Daniel Wong, and she was hanging around with him when she was telling her parents that she was going to school. She was living with him. And apparently she was working as a waitress somewhere. I've done all this research. Like, once I watch a documentary like this, oh my gosh, I go on a rampage. TikTok, Google, YouTube. Oh my goodness, I've seen so much. And everyone tells the exact same story. And at the beginning, you feel bad for her because she was raised this way and her parents expected so much from her. But to come up with, to fabricate things as you go along, that must be so exhausting, having to lie to your parents like that. Imagine you're a parent and you're hearing for the first time, you find out that your child is not going to school. You paid for their education and they're not going to school. And they're hanging out with this deadbeat boyfriend, according to them. As soon as they found out, they restricted her. She was only allowed to go to school. And her father drove her to and from. But she kept lying about that too. And she had to break up with Daniel. And then Daniel, her boyfriend, moved on. He found another girl. And apparently, according to the documentary, she was saying that when she was being questioned by the police, the whole thing is the questioning period when she was in the investigation. It's an hour and something minutes. So it's not too long and it's only one episode. So guys, you got to go watch it. She's in the examining room the whole time. And she goes from trying to make you feel bad for her. And then you say, oh my goodness, this girl has spun such a web of lies to deceive her parents so that she could date this boy who was not the best person on the planet. He was involved in drugs, probably gangs, and she went through him to go find people to help kill her parents. So it was a murder for hire. She hired someone to kill her parents, and 3 people showed up at her house. This happened in November of 2010, guys. And it was set up as a home invasion. And, I could tell you the whole story if you don't want to watch the video in the documentary, but you should still, even if I tell you the story, you should still go watch it. It's incredible. The way things turn about, the way the detectives in Canada, like, they had a special investigator who was specially trained to tell if a person was lying, and it was incredible. So she's in the investigator's office, and she's telling everything the way it happened. Of course, it's all lies, but you don't know that until she starts to slip up. And there was a point where she told the police that she was tied up, and they're questioning her, saying, if you're tied up, how are you able? She was tied up with her hands behind her back against a banister, and they're saying, how did you make a 911 call being tied up with your hands behind your back against a banister? And she was showing them, but they weren't buying it. They weren't buying it. So the story continues, and they find stuff out. She didn't anticipate her father surviving. She didn't know her father had woken up from the coma. Her mother died, unfortunately, from her wounds. She was shot in the back, and she was shot in the neck, I believe. If I'm mistaken, I'm sorry. And the father was shot in the face at close range, and he survived. He had to be put into an induced coma because hello, the pain he must have felt. So he was put in a coma, an induced coma, and he woke up 3 days later, and he told the police a totally different story than what his daughter did. He had a front row seat to what was going on in the house, even though he was being shot at. Apparently he was on the couch. He was being pistol whipped by one of the assailants. And let me interrupt. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? This is a light blue. These are fairy dust drills. And they're going around the owl's eye and in his body here. This is going to be gorgeous. I can't believe the progress I've made so far. Anyway, the mother's name was Bick, and the father's name was Han, or something like that. I'm sorry. And he was being pistol whipped while he was sitting on the couch. But at the same time, he saw his daughter come down the stairs. He told the police that she was not tied up. Her hands were free. And she was walking around the house with one of the assailants as if they were friends. That's what the father was telling the police. And here she was scared. She made a 911 call, and she was yelling and screaming, saying her parents had been shot. She had orchestrated the entire thing. She set it in motion. They found out that she was lying, and she tried to cover up by trying to make a story saying that she had intended not for her parents to be killed, but she wanted to be killed. She wanted these people to come into the house and kill her and rob from them. They robbed some money, like $1,100. They took from a drawer or something. But nothing else was touched. Like, there was stuff that they had that they could have taken that they didn't take. And the police was also suspicious about that. Expensive jewelry, stuff that if you were going to do a home invasion, you would take it. But they weren't taking it. There was stuff there that the police were like, why didn't they take this stuff? But they didn't. They were there for a purpose. They were hired to kill the parents. They weren't hired. It looked like she wanted them to make it look like a house invasion and rob them of money or whatever, but they had one purpose to be there, and that was to kill her parents on her demand. So, yeah. So the father survives. He is granted a I don't remember what it's called, but he's not able to, he doesn't want to see his daughter. He never wants to see her again. Non-communicative order or something like that. He doesn't want anything to do with her. The family is also has this order in place, like her brother. She can't talk to her brother or any family members. She has been disowned by the whole family, like written off. And, you know, I guess, not I guess, she deserved it. For, she had an option to leave the home. Her parents gave her an ultimatum when she was seeing her boyfriend, and they caught her hanging with her boyfriend when they specifically told her not to. They gave her an option. They said, leave the boyfriend and you live with your parents, and, but you can't see him anymore. And, or, you want to be with your boyfriend, you leave, but you can never come back. You are cut off from any financial help whatsoever. So she chose to stay with her parents. She could have left. She even says in the documentary, I had a choice to leave, but I chose to stay with my parents. Well, did you have this plan? She had planned to murder her parents before. This wasn't the first time she planned to do this. She had planned to do it a couple of years before as well. So, this was in her head for a long time because of the pressure they put on her to succeed. There's no excuse for that, though. If you don't like the way you're being raised in your own house and you're over 18, you leave. You find a place to live, even if you have to live in a car. But you don't, people might not agree with me here, but, to kill your parents so that you can be with your boyfriend, what did that leave her? So now she gets to think about this for the rest of her life. She's in prison for 25 years. She is 37 years old right now. She is in a prison in Kitchener, Ontario, and she's serving 25 years. And apparently, there is talk that there has been, it's probably gonna go to retrial. For what? She maintains her innocence. She still maintains her innocence because she didn't pull the trigger. She thinks she can get away with it. She was just as guilty as the people who killed her parents because she orchestrated the whole thing. Oh, guys. So let me know in the comments if any of you have seen What Jennifer Did. And, if you don't have Netflix, you can even go on YouTube. There is so much about this story on YouTube. Just research Jennifer Pan. Again, the last name of the family is Pan, P-A-M, P-A-N, sorry. And you can find out so much. So don't worry if you don't have Netflix. I mean, it was a great documentary, but you can find out so much more on YouTube. I mean, I was a little disappointed in that it ended too soon for me. I'm like, it ended and I'm like, what? Why don't we see her being hauled off to prison? Why don't we see her, the trial, whatever? That would have been cool, unless they've got plans later. Maybe there's a part 2 to this documentary, which I hope there is, guys. But I really hope you enjoyed this, and let me know if you've seen the documentary, What Jennifer Did. It was a great documentary. Like I said, the only thing I have that I didn't like about it was that it ended too quickly for me. I was kind of hoping that they would put more in there. But maybe there's a part 2 in the future, so let's hope for that, because this was an exciting yet very disturbing and sad story. The parents had to die at their daughter's hand so that she can be with her lover, She could have just left home and been with him if that's what she wanted so badly, but I guess she wanted the financial security of her family, and then, she, like I told you, in the movie, she says that she could have left. Well, guys, why didn't she? Why did she stay and orchestrate this horrible home invasion? That is a real nightmare. I hope none of you have ever experienced a home invasion or someone you love, because that must be terrifying. And, you go to bed at night thinking that your doors are closed and everything's okay. The next thing you know, you could have thugs that are high on drugs looking for a house to ransack. If you guys have expensive cars, put them in your garage. Don't leave expensive cars in the driveway. I mean, it might stop them. It might not if you don't have expensive, mind you, these guys had expensive cars too, but they were in the garage. And the whole thing was orchestrated by the daughter. So it wasn't a random thing. It was orchestrated by the daughter. And you would never know it looking at the first few minutes of the video. So go check out what Jennifer did on Netflix. And like I said, if you don't have Netflix, go on YouTube. Guys, there's so much information about it. Even TikTok. Type in Jennifer Pan. You'll hear so many stories. Different versions of the stories, but it's all the same thing. And I hope you liked my video, and please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you to some new subscribers I've recently got. It's been a yo-yo going up and down with my subscribers. I don't know what's going on. Please make sure you're subscribed to my channel. If you're intended to subscribe, please make sure you are. Sometimes YouTube removes you as a subscriber and you might not know it. So go check and make sure the subscribe button is clicked on. And give it a thumbs up. Please help my channel. I would really appreciate it, guys. And let me know if you want to hear some more crime stories from Canada. If you're enjoying this, I can find some more crime stories to talk about. And don't forget to watch what Jennifer did. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.